Hi friend, welcome back. I can't believe it, but today is the second edition of the Living Room Diaries, and as promised, today is about how I believe that having hobbies as an adult added benefits to my life. And I guess to say that I have struggled with this, and maybe you have as well, in terms of having every moment of the day be a productive moment of the day. And years prior, I really didn't count hobbies as productive minutes of the day. I thought that productive minutes meant something that was actively pushing along my work or any other goals I was having in life that were not related to hobbies. Um, Unless it was very specific. And these past couple of years, I realized that's not true, and that hobbies do count as productive moments in the day because they had benefits that I wouldn't have recognized or wouldn't have thought initially. And I'll give you my story. So, we're going back in time to December of 2020, where I was burnt out extremely from my first semester of grad school, and I was scrolling on Instagram as we are prone to do, and I saw someone make a shirt with a vinyl cutting machine and an iron. And I soon found out that that was Cricut. And when I did find out that it was Cricut, I immediately went out and bought a Cricut cutting machine and a Cricut iron because the idea of making graphic shirts immensely appealed to me. And then Cricut came out with their mug presses, their coasters, and their infusible ink line, which is kind of similar to sublimation, and I was hooked. I went out and bought a bunch of mugs and bought a bunch of coasters and just started practicing, and I gave a lot to my family, actually. I gave a lot to my family. Um, and during this time, I also really discovered that my pajamas kind of sucked. And so my mom was teaching me how to sew pajamas with the sewing machine because that's something I haven't really used in years. And I would say definitely between sewing and Cricut, I've worked out a lot of emotions my last throughout graduate school. Just with those two hobbies alone, they've really helped me a lot. But I'll also say that hobbies don't have to be arts and crafts related to have benefits. Um, a hobby of mine that I've had since college has been foreign languages. And another hobby that I picked up during the pandemic, really just to get an excuse to get out of my apartment because I got really bad at being stuck in my apartment, was playing golf. And I'm not very good at golf still, but it's something I do enjoy doing. And I will say that in the foreign language community, there is a concept, or they talk about an unexpected benefit to learning a foreign language is the aspect that it expands your personality. And I have found that it's true. The first language I started learning was Spanish, and I do found as though learning Spanish and particularly interacting with the content of music and TV and movies, but then also talking to different people, that I learned a lot more about those countries, their cultures, and I do feel as though as part of me learning about those cultures, my personality expanded to recognize how the United States differs in that sense. Um, and with golf, I will say I'm still new to it, but it's just different things in terms of I've never really watched the golf tournaments before, like the Masters or the PGA Tours, or kind of just learning the different terminology. I found that you learn to connect more with people, and I think that's the unexpected benefit of hobbies, is that when you find other people who know the hobby that you know, you can bond over that, and that's kind of cool. Um, Hobbies can be tricky as an adult is because you have to try to figure out how they fit into your life. You have a busy schedule, you have work, you have to look after the house or your dwelling and your family. And I will say it's tricky. I definitely haven't found the perfect science to it. Finding a time of the day that works for you is helpful. For me, that's 5 to 9 a.m. in the morning. I feel as though there's nothing more quote unquote romantic than waking up with a cup of coffee and doing something I'm passionate about. And that changes from day to day. Um, Recently, a lot of it has been starting Lead Collective and building out the website, but before that was um, learning the different languages that I had. And it's not to say that I'm perfect because I haven't golfed, to be honest with you, I haven't golfed in months, and I do feel bad about that. And I'm still going to work on it and get back to doing it. And I had to put my foreign languages aside to kind of really ramp things up with Lead Collective, but I really wanted to get back to them, and I did recently sign up for a class, so that at least has helped me study one of my languages once a week. But I really do think that it is important to find the time to work on them just because they do add value. And so I guess to leave today's video, it's more so to ask you kind of what hobbies do you have? I'm curious. Write them in the comments. How have they added value to your life? And maybe just on a more personal note for you, maybe to journal out or to think about is how could you, if you have not had the time to work on them, how could you work on them? And again, this is not me saying anything about advocating for a hobby. It's just to talk about and to discuss how hobbies really have added value to our lives. So on that note, I will see you next week, friend. Bye.